What's going on? This is The Last Oasis, by far one of my favorite games. This is a Spider-Man on steroids and you get to drive ships. So let's have a gaze. The biggest problem with the game, it could be very difficult because there's a lot of PvP and you can get your ship destroyed. So basically, this is a farming ship. To get all the resources, you get all these big chests with the main deck where you can put extra storage because it's a toboggan. And what I have here is an airlock. So I have two turrets which can be carefully placed on the side. As you can see here, they can clip right there on the little edge, right next to the legs. So you can still put all these chests and obviously your turrets. And right here you have a clan flags, right? And the way it works, somebody gonna try to get in. They're gonna try and smash through this. There is about 500 flags, if not more, probably around 600. It was a lot of effort to get all the wood and fiber weave, but it is possible. And this is my version 2. Before I had a simpler airlock, which I'll show you straight after this. You might be asking yourselves, how do you get in? And let's have a gaze. So the best part about this, if you get griefed and your quick grab's going to be destroyed, there's a steal to get in. You can just grapple up, crouch in this area, and you can still reach the actual pedals or handles to drive your ship. To get out, you can use one of the quick grabs to just jump out, right? There's multiple quick grabs just because this is very important. Sometimes, obviously, it's not uneven terrain. You can see there's a little bit of mountains, and especially if you go closer to more populated green areas, the walker can end up on the weird angles. And sometimes the angle will malaffect these quick grabs and you won't be able to get out. So you want to have as many of them as possible just to increase the options to get out, because you can get stuck and you might be able to, glitch out of it, but it's a lot easier just to simply, use another grapple and just get out, right? You can get in by just jumping here, and if you F quick enough, you'll just get in straight away, right? Really straightforward. I suggest having a smaller wings because it's a lot harder to get on top of your toboggan. Basically, when you run away, which is very important, you want to minimize the area and opportunity to get on the ship, right? If somebody does get on a ship, you can always use your ballistas to shoot at them while they trying to break in. And it will take them very, very long time to get in because each one of these poles is 100 HP. And you can imagine if there's a 600 of them, you probably need to get rid of about 1/3 to get in, right? And then that's going to take obviously 200 times 100, about 20,000 HP, if not more, to get through, right? And that's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort. So they're going to have to go for the legs, and it's a lot harder to destroy a leg if it's a reasonably small group trying to grief you. So as a solo, you could potentially use this design to give you as much time to get away. And we'll talk about this in a second. After, I'll show you my pimped inside ride. So inside we have 3 ammo chests. You obviously can put more in if you want, or less, it's up to you. I put 3 in because I separate my ammo, and it gives you different opportunities to what you want to shoot. I got 2 small chests which fit there really easily, and campfire. You can still put stomper at the front if you want. I just didn't had a need for it. Fire works just as fine. And you got 2 water bottles. The trick to this is before you put any flags, you gotta come in, place your handles down, but if you place them down, they'll be facing forward, right? You gotta rotate them 180 degrees so they actually face opposite towards front, and then essentially put them as close as possible to these 2 sticks. You won't be able to put them any closer, so you just have to play around and get it as close as possible to give you more chances and make it easier to get into the toboggan. So as you can see, there is a lot of flags. They glitch through the top, so we can have a look how far they go through. And let's just jump up. So as you can see, there's a pretty solid distance which you have to get through. If you really want, you can obviously increase this distance by removing the fires and chests and go as far as you can. You can also go forward into this distance, and you can obviously replace chests with any other items you would like. You can obviously replace this chest with the ballistas and so on and so on. This is not really fighting sheep. This is more of like protecting me while I'm trying to get away, and obviously collecting cattail and some other resources, you know, or corn. Everybody loves corn. I'm pretty sure I still have corn in this chest here. Basically, now the next topic. How do you get away? So there's a couple of rules. You always want to have gear. Right now in the game, probably the best meta is baskwood armor because a lot of people use mallet blades. So you want to protect yourself against metal weapons, and it'll give you a bit more, essentially, protection. You can notice that when you fight Rupus as well. It does take a lot less damage. And obviously, you want to go for Fortress because it's just cheap to produce. It's only need cattail, some bone glue, and some fiber, which you can get out of cattail anyway. And obviously, a bit cooler stuff, which is cloak. It's a lot expensive, like a lot more expensive because of the silk, but it's still possible to get. If you can't get silk because you don't want to go to hard map, you can always get berries, the cactus berries, and just sell them to buy silk. So you get about, you know, one berry or one silk quite easily. So probably quicker than actually gonna go and get silk in the first place. Alright, so we're not gonna talk about stats or anything like that. We could do that in another video. Let us know if you want to. But let's have a look what to do as a solo player. So we have a map, and we have our trade station. With the trade station, it is pretty important to work in the vicinity of the trade station. So if I was gonna essentially farm, I would farm in probably around this area because Toboggan can go up the hills quite easily. You can crawl up and get out quite quickly, so you're not really restricted essentially to get away. I always park my Toboggan facing rear to the wall so I can just climb up and get out, right? Doesn't matter if I get curtail here or Rupu or if I'm, you know, driving around, I will generally stay in this area. However, because there's a proxy here, which is area of interest, I would probably stay away from that. And essentially, what I would do, I would probably choose this area to farm, you know. I wouldn't go anywhere near it. But basically, you want to get as close as possible to trade station, and you know, you can stay with the trade station. And the benefit of that, if you get to the trade station, you get 15 minutes of no damage, and you can log out. And logging out of the trade station takes 20 seconds. So if you're a solo player, it'll be very silly for you not to be in this area here or close to, so you can get to it as quick as possible. And you remember they will have to smash through this all clan flags, which will give you enough time to drive this toboggan to the actual area. All you have to do to drive and essentially concentrate on your turrets shooting back. The benefit of this, even if they choose not to attack here and get rid of these turrets, they are extra 6,000 XP they have to do. And if there's more than one player, it's not as beneficial for them as the other build because they might destroy this together quicker. However, when they get to this area, they won't be able to make one path. They'll be hitting two paths. So instead of breaking 1/3, they'll be breaking 2/3 of your flags. So it's not as beneficial. So it'll still slow them down even if there's multiple people. So you'll have to get to the trade station, which can be easily done. If you press on the numpad a 9 or a 3, you can see my minimap is increasing and decreasing. You can obviously use that to gauge where you're at if you're busy with the turrets, or just quickly press M and have a gaze where you're at. So that's pretty much brings us to the end point of this toboggan. It is a bit more expensive than the other option that everybody rolls with. However, I did have other option. I got jumped by 2 people, and they managed to get through quite easily because I had 1 Stomper and 1 Repeater, which is only about 6,000 health together, and that's got smashed reasonably quick. And they got in, and I could not drive the toboggan anymore. So this will definitely increase time for you to escape, and time is really important. And you have to remember, because of this time, you don't want to be sitting somewhere around here, because it's not going to be realistic and not enough time to get to safe logout. And there's no point trying to get to the wall or to the edge to log out, because you'll be combat locked for 5 minutes anyway. So you will have to go to the trade station if you have not been encountered yet. And this is about it. Let's swap to my second cheaper option. So this is our second option, which has got repeater and the smasher or crasher or whatever you can call it. And the way it works, you got smasher with repeater, which you can essentially get in, get out. Then you got some flags to force you to actually spawn to the back. You could probably put a little bit of more flags on the edges where the smasher is, but you have to be careful, because more you put, it essentially creates a wall, so you cannot select the repeater to get into it. The way it works, you have your ballista, which you can still use. Essentially, well, I got rid of it because I wasn't really using on my other farming toboggan, and put chests instead. The ballistas to shoot back placed on the top instead of on the bits over there, where you can actually squeeze them in, so you can have all these chests on top deck. With the repeater, the way it works, when you get in, the preference to get out is on the right side. So essentially, if I was gonna get in, right now it's set to get in, because as you can see, the right side is jammed. So you would get out into the flags, which will push you inside of the airlock. To get out, you will essentially face repeater other way and get out. I'll demonstrate that for you now. If I want to get out, all you do is look into your left leg, and then allows you to get out really easily because it chooses the right side. When you want to get in, you literally go onto the other leg, and it pushes you on inside because it still chooses the right side. On inside, I have a bit of ammo boxes. As you can see, there's still a bit of space. I can put stuff in, fire, water, little chests. There's a lot of space. You can still put stuff in. You can probably even put the rangefinder inside here somewhere, so you can observe through the back. You can probably still use the rangefinder to glitch through the back as well. So that's another option. And that's about it. However, as you can see, it's only 6,000 health to get through, and 2 people can quite easily hit both of these items at the same time and get in. Here we go. This completes our tutorial. And just to remember, make sure you stay in the area close to the trade station, because it's only 20 seconds to get out and log off. And possibly pick times when there's not many players. Try to get on early and don't stay late, because when later you play, more people online, especially in our servers, because obviously the time differences. And stay safe, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Give us a like, and let us know if you want to see more content with this game. Thank you, and have a good one.